resident directors do you, resident hall assistants do you have, and RDs do you have on campus?
17 RAs, 15 RDs.
Okay. You guys stand out amongst the rest. So your actions already push you above to the cream of the crop. All right. Now, most people don't think about it. You went through your first interview process. Extensive interview process. I mean, a lot of people don't think of it like that, you know, because when we applied, I mean, there was a bunch of people going, and we had to actually show, why am I capable of doing this? And even when I got the position, I still had to go apply for the next year. And our RAs had to apply every year. We just weren't renewed. Just because you're an RA this year didn't mean that you were going to become an RA next year, because you could have been really bad RA and they're not going to hire you again. You know, so there was something that set you above the rest. All right, so one, your action has set you above the rest of this campus. And I say, on campus, it's your own little world. You're the cream of crop of your own little world here. All right, because obviously, I wonder how many people apply for those positions that you guys are going after. I bet it was a bunch of people. You know, so your actions. You know, I dare you, each day that you walk into this and you wake up, I dare you to be the best at what you do. You know, you might not choose this as a profession, but let me tell you, if you choose this every day to be the best at what you do, you're going to develop a lot of skills that are going to help you throughout your career. And I tell you one thing, I said listening, communication, dealing with people, dealing with conflict, understanding conflict, try to solve conflict. All these things I developed early as an RA. You know, because I had fights on my hall between boyfriend and girlfriend, you have to go solve it. You know, fights between roommates, you have to go solve it. Running an all-girls dorm, that's the most conflict resolution practice I ever had, because I'm the only male trying to make 150 girls happy in this dorm, and none of them can live together, and none of them can get along with any of them. So conflict resolution, you develop. You know, those things, writing, you know, note-taking and documentation, very, very key. It taught me how to document, keep up with things. And you can ask Joey, if something's in the office that they need, they'll come to me and go, Q, do you have this? Because I know you have it on file. Yes. And I'll pull it out. Because documentation in your position is very key, and it might keep you out of trouble, and it might keep somebody else out of trouble, or it might help you, you know, get a situation solved. Because if you're having a problem with a student over and over and over and you don't document it, where's the proof? So documentation is very important. Documentation can keep you, and kept one of our RAs out of jail. Because a young lady said something that was controversial and police were brought in, but his documentation in our RA logs, and I know you guys have logs, his documentation kept him from going to jail because it wasn't the truth. And they took that documentation. And so documentation is very important. One thing that you'll learn, and I dare you to be the best at what you do in all those areas. Focus. You know, your determination to do this job, and your focus to do the job. I know you got a million things to do. You got tests, you got sororities. I mean, you got graduate school stuff that you're probably thinking about. I mean, if you're an athlete or not an athlete, I mean, there's a million things that are tugging and pulling you. But if you're focused on, when I say, when you're in your moment, or when you're on duty, you focus at that moment on that very thing that you're doing. Because if you're on duty and you're supposed to be watching the dorm and doing your duty, there's people's safety involved. Understanding, you know, paying attention, being focused on who's supposed to be in here, who's not, who's a stranger, who doesn't fit. Because again, through our experiences, we had a crazy psycho dude that was stalking one of our females in our dorm. And you had to tell my RAs, we have to be very conscious and aware of who's in here, because we didn't know what the guy looked like, we didn't know who he was, but we know there was an issue. And so we have to be very alert and very aware and focused on what we're doing at all times. That's time to relax, but in that position, you have people's lives and you have people's well-being in your hands. And so the job taught me how to be focused on tasks and things that were there in front of me. A purpose. What is your purpose? What are you trying to get out of this? And there's a purpose for everything that we do. You know, and our purpose, for me, my purpose was when I understood residential life and I began to enjoy it. And I was also an athlete. One thing that I liked about it was that it gave me a purpose of campus, and it gave me a purpose to sell my campus and to be a part of my campus. Because my first 3 or 4 months, I was out, packed my bags, I was at the house, you know. But it gave me a sense of purpose to stay on campus, and I tell you, it made me a better person, and it made me a better student, and made me a better college person overall. Because, you know, I went to a small school. You guys have a lot more way to do on campus than I did, but it gave me a sense of ownership of where I was at and what I was doing on my campus. Then I began to see the purpose of what it was doing to help me professionally. And I began to deal with students, understand, you know, and you might deal with this, and it's funny because you'll have freshmen, or you'll have girls come in on the dorm and they're all engaged. You know, that first semester, I'm engaged to my high school sweetheart, and I'm thinking in my head, by semester's end, you're not going to be, you know. And I started to understand why, because the community, I mean, you develop friendships and you develop relationships with people, and back home it's kind of gotten old, because they're really telling the truth when they say your long life friendships are developed here. Because you think about it, I live with you pretty much. We're in a separate room, but I mean, we had community showers, so I'm bathing next to you. I mean, I'm eating next to you. I mean, I wake up and we go to class together. So, I mean, you spend a lot of time with these people and you develop these friendships, and that became the purpose. That even though I wanted to develop a relationship with these people, I also wanted when I'm on duty, I want to protect these people, because, you know, they're my friends. And so you keep that in mind. What's your purpose and why you do it? This is one thing that you will learn, that it will develop and help you develop. And, you know, one thing that if I don't do anything else in life, one thing I want to be known for is being a man of character, and a man that stands up and for what he believes in, and doing the right thing. And one thing that I really feel that this job did, it helped me develop some character, because I had to take responsibility of being a leader. You know, because you are a leader, and people, you don't realize that people are looking up to you and they respect you, and they might not act like it, but when it's all said and done and you do the right thing, you know, they'll respect you in the long run. And I'd rather be respected than liked any day, you know. One thing also it allows you to do, it allows you to build that sense of character and confidence to go deal with people. You know, I'm not scared to go deal with people. You know why? Because I've been doing it since I was a freshman. You know, it gives you practice. I mean, y'all do closed doors, right behind closed doors. Y'all done that, and walking into a situation and bam, how are you going to deal with that? Are you going to do the right thing? You know, and are you going to think quick on your feet? And are you going to be a man, a woman of character to help a situation? You walk into a situation, are you just going to, because I don't want to be involved, you're going to let a boy beat up his girlfriend? No, because you're a man of character. And so those are the things that it allowed me to develop and allowed me to grow inside of me. And so those are the things that this job will allow you to do, and believe me, you're going to take that on to your next profession.